Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about materials. I'm not going into the I'm not going very deeply into materials. I'm just going to show you the use case of them. In our previous video, we used one of Lollipoli assets and we make a train by it. He has some great assets. I recommend you to go check them and pick any one of them if you found it good. Now I'm in the folder of one of these assets called stylized terrain texture. Exactly, if you like to know what the asset is, I have to go into the next page and let me increase the view results. And here it's the stylized terrain texture, and you can see it's completely free. And if I go to the materials folder, I will see two materials, one for the mobile diffuse, and one material is standard. Another note, quickly, I have to show you, in some of the assets you will see built-in URP and HDRP. These are Unity's render pipelines. The URP is the most popular one, and the HDRP is for stronger devices like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. And URP almost used for everything, and built-in is Unity's legacy render pipeline. It is good because old assets can work with it, but you can also change the built-in pipeline materials to URP pipelines. But there are other things like shaders that you can't change to URP. I want to tell you this because if your render pipeline is set to URP or HDRP, your material sections are going to differ. And you can see it has albedo, specular, normal map, height map, occlusion. And the important thing is albedo and normal map. Albedo is the main thing of this texture, and the normal map is like the height of it, almost. And you can see if I put this material into every one of these objects, they get the material. And for example, if I duplicate this by click on it and press Ctrl and D, I have another material, and I call this test material. Now with this test material, I can remove normal map. And if I remove normal map, you can see it looks like more cubic and flat. But if I put the real material, you will see it differs because it has normal map. And I just want to show you that materials are used for making this visual better. And in the texture folder, we should make the material the type that we want. As you can see, many of them, the texture type is set to default, but for the normal map, it's set to normal map. We use default and normal map and sprite a lot because the default used for the default textures, the normal map used for normal map, and the sprite 2D and UI used for the 2D and UI. And in 2D games and for creating UR for any game, you will need them. And importing textures are basically image. You can import any image and make it a texture. And then for materials, you have to set them. You can also create a material by going to press right click, going to create and choose material. You can see I create a material, and I can also change the color of the material. Also we can change the color of our test material, and here you can see the color of the material is changing. You can also make the material. You can also work with materials. There are so many materials in every render pipeline, and you can also for example make this red more metallic, and its red going to differ. And you can also change the smoothness of it. And another option is to make this a fade material. You can, by fading a material, you can choose the alpha of it and make it almost transparent. As you can see, this is a cube that have a transparent or fading material. And there are so many things that you can do with them. Also, it has transparent material that with transparent, you can see it shouldn't be metallic, but if you want metallic fading material, you should use fade. In other cases, you use transparent. And we can also make this any color we want. And in the next part of the video, I'm going to make the render pipeline of this video, changing it from built-in render pipeline to universal render pipeline. The guide of it is available from Unity docs. First, you need to add the URP from package manager. And you need to go to the Unity window, package manager, Unity registry, and choose universal render pipeline or universal RP. Then install it. After you install Unity's universal render pipeline package, you should go to create, either from right clicking on here or going to asset and create. Then in the below you can see rendering, and in rendering you should use the URP asset. Name this whatever you want. And when you create it, then you have to go to the edit and project settings and graphics, and set the render pipeline asset to the one that you create. Whatever the name you choose, it will appear here. For me, it was new URP, and now I will see I am seeing new URP. Unity alerts you that changing this render pipeline asset may take a significant amount of time. Click on continue and wait. After a while, it should complete. Then create a folder for materials. Click on create and create new material, and leave this new material alone. You can see the material attributes are now different from the thing they used to be. Now I assign this material to every object. Also, quick note here, you can assign materials by clicking and dragging to the object, but you can also choose a game object and go to the mesh render component, and from that there are some materials. Open the material and choose the material that now we are making. Also, I can select all of these, and I don't know if it works for every single object, but I'm going to try. Yes, I click all of them by clicking on the shift and then pressing this pole, this object, and then it will automatically choose everything from here up to there where I click the mouse and shift together. And I make these materials new material, also expand all of them and making them, or making the all of the material of them this. And you can see, because this object doesn't have mesh renderer component, it doesn't show me the new material attribute. Now that the scene of us is okay, we can also check our terrain that we're making, and you can see there is a problem. For that, we should go to the assets, and also we can see all of our previous materials are now purple. You should choose all of them, going to the edit, rendering, materials, and select the convert selecting built-in materials to URP. Unity automatically convert the materials for you. It may take some time, but now you will see all of our materials are fixed. But the terrain is still purple. But if I assign a material to this object, you can see it will correctly changes. We should click on material and going to the paint textures, paint details actually, and now you will see all of our details gone. So we have to manually add our old materials, old textures actually. Okay, I don't know what it was, but it is fixed now. And if I look closer to this, yeah, it has the texture. So it's either the material change or the generate shader includes. One of them has fixed the issue, and I don't know which one. But in general, the better practice is to always choose the universal render pipeline if you want to create a new project. But if you have already make a big project, I recommend you to not change your render pipeline because it may have some shared layers that are not going easily change. So if you have an old project or if you have an old asset that uses the legacy shaders, you should stick with the built-in pipeline. But besides that, you always should use universal render pipeline or high definition render pipeline, URP or HDRP. That's it for this video. I hope you found this video helpful.